And it's out. Dr. Art.
What's happening?
Did you read the comments on that last video we did?
Yeah, that was, you know.
It was brutal. They were brutal.
They were brutal. And you know what? Most of them were wrong.
Well, yeah, we'll get to that in a second, right? But yeah, guys, seriously. You know, if I had feelings, they would have been hurt from some of the things these people said. Seriously. Like we don't know what we're doing.
Right.
Right? So
why didn't you guys do this? Why didn't you do this? Like
he had covered all of those bases the day before and pronounced it dead, rightfully so. And I says, you know what? I'll get it started. So I already told him, I cheated a little bit. In the squirt bottle, I had some two-stroke oil, a little bit of two-stroke oil, and some acetone. Figuring, okay, you know, this thing will light off, right? And it'll blow his mind. It didn't work. But now we found out why it didn't work.
There's a lot of why.
Yeah. Okay. So here's what you need to understand before I show you what's going on in the engine. Here's what you need to understand about getting an engine started, an older engine, one that's been sitting for a long time. And I actually did a whole video on this. On engines that sit for 2, 3, 4, 5 years, and they need to be seasoned before they'll start easily again. Because inside the engine, inside the intake runners and the ports, and there's always going to be dust and dirt and carbon and all of that. And when you go to first start an engine that's been sitting stagnant for a while, all of that has to be soaked with gasoline before the vapors are available to be lit, because the liquid doesn't light, the spark plug doesn't light the liquid. The spark plug lights the vapors that come off of the liquid. So when you've got an engine that's been sitting for any amount of time, all of that inside the engine dries out and it needs to be re-seasoned before it'll start. And that's why you always notice it'll take you 20 minutes to get an engine started for the first time, and then the next time you go to start it, it's like click at a key and boom, she lights right off, because the inside of the engine becomes seasoned again. So that's what I assumed we were up against when we did this. But ooh, you found
a lot.
A lot. Okay, so it's a good thing this engine didn't start, because it would have been toast. I'll show you. Well, if it did start, it would have sucked all of this stuff into the already partially clogged pickup. Where's the pickup? Oh, here it is.
The pickup, yeah.
Pickup.
It would have just packed it full.
So yes, it's a good thing it didn't start. Also, a lot of you guys are like, oh, you got to check the cam timing and all. The time is skip the timing chain. We did that. Yeah. We did a lot of stuff that you didn't see. We had the valve cover off. We rotated number one. We made sure that we were split overlap. We did all of that, right? So we covered those bases. But back to this thing. So the reason this wouldn't start is because it appears to us now that we're looking this thing over, is that this was a flood engine. And during the course of that flood, it ingested a lot of earth. A lot of earth.
Earth, wind, and fire, yeah.
Yeah, it's crazy. Yeah. So here, take a look at, let's look at some of these pistons. So
and it's just goo,
right.
Loose goo. We've done nothing. This is just what was in the just dirt. Yeah.
Here's another one right here. So all of this stuff is coating the inside of the motor, and as you go to try to start it, here we've also got it all spread through the valley. Now the cam didn't rust. There's no rust. I mean, it looks like what I think happened was this thing was in the flood. We had a massive flood here in Nashville about 10, 12 years ago. And it looks like this thing was in a flood and they drained the oil. Like so they probably took the oil plug out, let the water out, and then put the oil plug back in. So the water didn't displace and it didn't sit inside the engine long enough to rust stuff, but it left all of its flood residue behind. Look at the cylinder heads. Where's that screwdriver? Look at all of this. This isn't carbon, this is dirt. And in the intake manifold, you can see the rust. This is why we couldn't get it started yesterday, because the engine is loaded with, it doesn't even have a word. What would you call the stuff that's in there?
Flood muck.
Flood muck.
Flood muck and earth.
Yeah, the cylinder heads, the pistons, the combustion chambers, everything was flooded loaded with flood muck. And you notice towards the end, we almost had it started, and right before the starter took a dump, which that starter was kind of on its way out to begin with.
It was, yeah.
So it was a mercy killing. It wasn't a murder, it was a mercy killing. Some of these people, did you see this one guy? I never crank it more than 5 seconds before I take everything apart and check it out. Did you see that? Yeah, please.
Yeah.
Yeah, you guys are watching the wrong channel, okay? You know, we got the time we cover. So at any rate, that explains what we got. It looks like the motor was in the flood. They drained the oil so that they let most of the water out, but they didn't do anything to clear out the top of the motor. So that is why we couldn't get this thing to start. But like I said, towards the end, we had a crank and it was almost ready to go. And that's when I was getting crazy aggressive with the squirrel pump. I was just whipping fuel down the carburetor. And then she wanted to go. But, so Dr. Art, you are going to rebuild this thing.
Yeah, we're going to, later on tonight, take off the front cover, take the cam out, take a look at the cam bearings, replace them if needed. And then, of course, pop the pistons out, clean all the muck out of it, clean out all my passages. We're just going to be a driveway rebuild. And then, you know, clean the pistons, new rings, new rod bearings. The main
So
bearings,
you showed yesterday your video.
Yeah, the main bearings are in good shape. So
Yeah, I saw that.
they're good. Rod bearings, they were okay, just worn. So a fresh set of those.
Yeah,
rings.
don't throw this away because those are the ones I use. And my
Yeah.
bottle rocket has bearings that look exactly like that.
So fresh stuff, and then I'm gonna buy Kiwi a nice cam for the motor for his birthday,
Happy birthday, Kiwi.
and then we should have a nice running little, you know, hot rod motor for this truck until, you know, the big Mama Hemi's done. So
Yeah. Well, see, that was the other thing too. We were really trying to avoid putting any work into this one because it's going to get a Hemi. I just don't have the time to build a Hemi right now because I've already bitten off way more than I could chew with my own projects. You ever get like that?
no, never.
No, of course not.
Looking around, never.
All right. Look how overexposed we are. I have to move someplace. Oh, this is better. Okay. All right. So you could see you tore this down. You put a video up yesterday.
Put a video up yesterday, and then did really well. So thanks. You could see everything, see the goo, you could see the condition of the bearings and stuff like that. And then you could follow along.
God only knows what some of those rings look like, impacted in the
Yeah,
rings.
I'll get the rest of those out, get the front timing cover off, and then, you know, call up Summit Santa Claus and order some parts, and it'll be better than new in no time.
All right, so you're gonna cover every step of that on your channel, Dr. Art's Hot Rod Rehab. If you guys haven't subscribed already, go over there and subscribe. You got a lot of crazy stuff. You're all over the map, man. You cover the world.
Yeah, I get, you know, you get crazy ADD and you get bored.
And he makes cookies, like really, really good cookies.
And then also, we're gonna pull the trans out of this.
Yeah. If the motor is flooded, the trans isn't going to be far behind. So it's just a regular 727. So we'll
go
yank
through,
that out
freshen
and
it
go
up,
through
and yeah, it'll be good.
I'll do that on my channel.
Yeah,
'cause I've already got the
that's
stainless.
just you. Yeah.
Okay. All right. So that's it, guys. There you go. The latest update. That's what beat us. You know, flood sludge. See you tomorrow.